What's going on, folks? We have some very interesting video game news that I want to cover today. One topic talking about Sony, one topic talking about Nintendo and the Switch 2. This is going to be a fun episode, I think. So if this is your first time on the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But without any further ado, let's talk about what's going on in the world of video games. And we're going to start things off with Sony and the PlayStation 5. Now, the PlayStation 5, obviously, there's been some missteps with this system. The whole games as a service, live service initiative that Sony was trying to push with this system, it hasn't really worked out all that well. Games like Concord, released for 2 weeks. We're hearing terrible things about Marathon and all of the plagiarism. Fair Games doesn't look like it's ever probably going to come out. A lot of missteps by Sony this generation, but something that's been happening this entire year of 2025 is, of course, tariffs and all these economic experts telling me that whenever I talk about these things, I'm just very wrong. I don't understand it. And I never claim to be an expert on this. If anything, I say I'm kind of naive towards it. I do some research. I look at things from a consumer perspective with pricing and how these prices are achieved. But for the most part, I don't think most people are experts with this. And really, experts all sort of have their own hidden agendas based on different political ideologies at the end of the day. So however you feel about tariffs, I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. But in an era where we're seeing Nintendo raising the accessory prices for the Nintendo Switch 2 before the system launches, in an era where we've seen Xbox raise the prices substantially of all Xbox consoles and accessories, Sony's doing something very interesting. From May 28th to June 11th, there is a PlayStation event happening called Days of Play. Now, usually this sort of stuff is just about games, and there's lots of game sales. They have a list of things that are coming to PlayStation Plus and bonus games and the classics catalog, game trials, all sorts of crap like that. But the interesting thing has to be on hardware and accessory things, because in the United States and Canada, the PlayStation 5 console, the Call of Duty Black Ops 6 bundle, digital and standard, will be available starting at $399.99 USD or $509.99 Canadian. So you're saving up to $119.99, so $120 USD or $160 Canadian compared to buying them separately. In select regions such as Europe and Asia, the PlayStation 5 console, digital and standard, will be on promotion starting at €399.99, £339.99, 65,000 yen, and you also get $50 off of a PlayStation 5 Pro console. So savings across the board for various PlayStation 5 systems, and that's something we have not seen in quite a while from a console manufacturer. In the era of everything going up in price, even if it is just a 2-week or so sale, this is still very interesting because tariffs and world economic conditions that all these other companies are having to jack the prices up of things on. Sony doesn't seem to have that issue. And then we have various accessories. $50 off of the PlayStation VR 2 and PlayStation VR 2 Horizon Call of the Mountain bundle. $30 off Pulse Explorer wireless earbuds. $30 off the DualSense Edge wireless controller. $20 off of Access controller. $20 off of a DualSense wireless controller. And then there's going to be various discounts on games as well, such as Astrobot, MLB The Show 2025, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, and Lego Horizon Adventures. But I'm not really interested in the software. I'm interested in all these accessories and this hardware that I keep hearing, oh, well, of course they have to raise the prices, RGT. Of course. But then Sony is dropping them, even if it's a temporary drop. Still, why were why? You see what I'm saying here? It's a very interesting conversation to have. How is Sony able to do a sale on these accessories, a sale on hardware and stuff like that, but other companies don't seem to be able to do that, and they need to raise the price? And you could say this, that, and the other. It hasn't hit the shore yet. You know, the accessories aren't here, which, I mean, they are here now, but, you know, that's besides the point. Maybe these have been in the United States for quite a while and stuff like that, and they're just trying to clear out some stock or something like that, but then that really doesn't make sense on the Xbox side of things because obviously Xbox stuff has been here for a while. And like I said, I am not an economic expert, but when I see an anomaly out of the three companies that are, dealing with video game accessories, dealing with video game consoles and stuff like that, and it is a stark contrast from what is happening with the other two companies, I do think it is something worth talking about. And yes, like I said, this is a temporary promotion. But even so, if things were so bad, why would you do a temporary promotion right now? I'm just asking questions. And people get mad when I ask questions and they're like, oh, that's just your sort of way out. And it's like, no, that's honestly how I feel about it. That's honestly how, from the consumer perspective, how I'm looking at this. And I think a lot of people are looking at this kind of in the same similar manner. It's like, well, where does the line between profits and greed, necessity and greed sort of blur? And it seems like those lines are becoming more and more blurred. And then you're going to end up like Robin Thicke. And didn't he get sued by Marvin Gaye for that Blurred Line song? You shouldn't steal from Marvin Gaye. Like, dude, I remember when I was a little kid and Sexual Healing would come on the radio, I would giggle like a little kid because I was a little kid, but I still giggle like a kid as an adult whenever I hear that song. When I get that feeling, I want sexual healing. Anyways, so PlayStation is managing to drop prices, even though it's temporary for a sale, while other companies can't seem to do that. What do you think about that? Let me know in the comments section down below. And the final thing is, oh boy. Now, like I've said, I don't hate the Nintendo Switch 2 game card situation. I don't. I think as a means of getting games for cheaper than it would be if you had to crunch everything onto a cartridge and have it be true physical, I think it's a good alternative. I think it's a good alternative if you are someone who plans to sell games or you are interested in selling games and trading games with your friends, because you can't do that with a digital copy of a game, but you can do that with a game card copy of a game. But there was one kind of worry with this whole game card thing, and that was, how are third parties going to handle this? Because we already see that third parties are putting a vast majority of their games on the digital or the game key card situation. So many freaking names. Great job, Nintendo. But the game key card situation. We've already seen games ranging from huge file sizes to minuscule file sizes all being on these game key cards because of the fact that it seems like there's only a 64 gigabyte physical cartridge, so why would you put a 4 gigabyte game on a 64 gigabyte cartridge when you're already selling it at a discounted price? It's not a full retail release. But there's something going on with Street Fighter 6, and I do not like this, and a lot of people don't like this. So this is coming to us from Genki via Does It Play 1. The Japanese box says that years 1 through 2 DLC for Street Fighter 6 Fighters Edition is a code in a box that expires 2 years from release. This is on top of the base game being a game key card. On other platforms, you also get the base game on a disc and code, but a game key card and a code in the box isn't interesting for a physical release. So I have questions about this, because if I have a game key card, and I'm just spitballing here, if I have a game key card, right, and I pop that in, we know that Street Fighter 6, there's technically two different versions on the Switch 2 of this game. There is the version that's $40. It's a digital download only that does not have the years 1 through 2 DLC. And then there is the $60 physical edition that has the DLC via a code in the box. So, like, why is it not accessible through the digital game or the game key card? Like, why do I have to have a game key card that's literally just a way to play the game that I still have to download, and then I still have to download the DLC with it? If I have the game key card only exists as the Fighters edition, as the premium $60 edition of the game. So why do I need a code in a box that has a 2-year limit on? Like, shit like this is annoying. It's annoying. And I get it. It's not necessarily Nintendo's fault, although, cartridge size restrictions, it doesn't help the situation. But this is the thing I fear with this, is that third parties are going to do bullshit like this all throughout the system. I have a game key card that I have to stick into my system in order to first download the game, but it does not have accessibility on the game key card to get the DLC. I have to use a piece of paper that is inside of the cartridge or the inside of the box of this in order to download it. What is the point of that? What is the point of that? And then you get into the whole resale thing, because if I'm selling my game key card of it, I'm done with the game, or I want to trade in the game, technically speaking, that DLC no longer exists, because you probably already used the DLC. You probably already downloaded it because you only had a 2-year limit in order to do it, which means that it's not the Fighter's Edition. It's not the complete edition of the game with the DLC. Oh my God. With the DLC. So really it's the $40 version of the game without the DLC on a game key card that says it's the Fighter's Edition with years 1 through 2 on the cartridge, or accessible through the cartridge, but it's really not, and it's accessible through a piece of paper. This is just the launch of the system. And if you don't think things are going to get more convoluted as time goes on, I don't know what to tell you, pal. I don't know what to tell you. Because companies are going to be doing stuff like this all throughout the system generation. And most companies, I'm going to say it, most companies, when it comes to third-party games, are not going to be putting the full game on the cartridge. And that is going to be something that people need to realize with this. I am someone who's moved on from the everything needs to be physical thing. I have moved on from that. I do prefer physical, but I also don't mind digital stuff anymore. But there's still a lot of people that everything has to be a true physical. And to see them kind of, I don't use Game Pass because it's digital and I want to own the game. Do you really, are you really owning with this system? I'm interested to see some of these Nintendo diehards who always said, oh, digital bad. I wonder what their reactions are going to be with this system, and whether or not they change their tune. I'm sure they'll keep it 100 and not change their tune or anything like that, because they're not fanboys, but they are. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about all this in the comments section down below. PlayStation, the magical company, somehow able to offer a discount in times of economic crisis within the video game industry, even if it's just for 2 weeks. I think that's pretty interesting. And the game key card situation. Oh boy. It's going to get fun, folks. It is going to get very, very fun. And as always, guys, thank you for checking out this video. If you are indeed new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, comment, and share. Feel free to yell at me about, oh, you don't know what they're talking about with tariffs and game key cards in the comments section down below. It's fine. You're allowed to have your opinion. I'm not someone who will shut you up about it. I'm just telling you guys my perspective and my opinion on it. My opinion is not law. Except if you're in my house, then, piss off, pal. And as always, I'll catch you guys on the next video. Later.